is Connor Korgaard. I'm 27 years old. I'm from the United States, and I'm a professional waterman and sailor. My lifestyle is pretty unique. I've tended to travel the world all over, and I have been lucky enough in life to find my passion playing on the water all day, in boats and on boards, foiling and surfing, and racing sailboats. And now I've gotten to a point where I essentially get paid to make boats go fast for a living. Another thing that's pretty unique right now is I'm traveling around, living out of a van in North America, in the US, and hoping to find the right person for me to team up with on an Olympic campaign, and hopefully we can go get a medal. I think I was always driven towards the Olympics, probably, or driven towards sport at least, just based off being active as a child. But I definitely always had, I guess, this nautical tick to me and loved being around water, but never knew how to sail until probably my mid-teens. And then just progressed quickly through it, and so really enjoyed that growing up, and especially coming from the Midwest. It was difficult to get into sailing, but once I was able to, and able to travel more with it, I just sort of took off with it and kept running. Any given day for me is pretty wild and random. I tend to operate my entire life off my phone, actually, and so for me, if something's not written down, it's really hard for me to remember it, just because my schedule is so constantly changing. But for example, I've gotten calls at 4 or 6 in the morning that have just said, oh, you're at this location, right? All right, we'll go down the street, take a left, go into that airport, and there's a plane waiting to pick you up and take you here to race on this boat. And it's been pretty spectacular. Throughout my sailing career, I've realized and noticed that I've always believed I had a higher calling to go and earn an Olympic medal for my country. And right now, the best thing for me to be able to do that has been to leave a so-called normal life behind, and was able to leave my coaching positions behind and my full-time work behind in order to chase my Olympic ambitions. And so that's what's really driven me and allowed me to kind of convert over, get a van, and go find the right person for me to team up with. The easiest way to describe kind of the process, I guess, I'm going through in finding the right partner is essentially it's similar to kind of finding your marriage partner. But I guess with none of the, romantic or emotional benefits necessarily. And the reason it's like that is because you're going to be with this person for likely 8 years at least, just because you are very unlikely to get a medal at your first Olympic Games that you would even compete at. So first you have to make it to the Olympics, then go compete at the Olympics, and then you have to medal at the Olympics. And so in that process, it's very important that you connect well with this person and that you just get on well on a very chemistry-based level, I guess. So, for example, right now I'm actually down in Miami, Florida in Coconut Grove, and I've met a nice lady who's offered to allow me to park in her driveway overnight, and we did a bit of an exchange where I'm actually babysitting an orphan peacock while she's out of town, and house sitting for her. And I've just ran into some pretty unique situations all over the world where I tend to not know what's coming, but it winds up being a really creative situation and a really unique situation that I think most people wouldn't necessarily even have on their bucket list. So I actually just got done living abroad in New Zealand for a number of years, and have moved back to the United States and have been traveling around in my van. And one of the things a lot of sailing is related around is down here in Miami in the winter. And so I've come down here to get in some training, and quite often that turns out, if I don't have training on, to be able to get some work in, or to be able to work with some of the youth and give back to the sailing community, which has been pretty spectacular. But another thing it allows me to do is kind of go with the flow and wind up getting to go out winging and kiteboarding, babysitting a peacock, which is a life experience I never knew I wanted, but one that was definitely welcome. Come, I'll show you my van that I've been living out of for the past several months. This is Sadie. She's more of an RV than a van, but legally a van, so I can park on any street in the continental US. Welcome into inside of my daily life. I've got the van here and I've done it up. It started out as a pretty rough project, but wound up finding it out in San Francisco and was able to fix up the inside to where now it's, as you can see, it's pretty much a palace to be able to live in compared to what most people consider van life. But it's perfect for me and gives me that space that it doesn't quite feel like I'm necessarily living in a van, but I can travel around with everything on my back. So I've been planning on doing van life for about 6 or 9 months, just while I'm finding the right partner, because it's allowing me that freedom to A, go cross-train in a big year of physical training, and B, go to where a potential partner might be and try out sailing with them. One of the best places I've ever been sailing, I would have to say, is this funny little town in West Kirby, just south of Manchester in the UK. And it's just a really unique place to sail, and have been some really beautiful places too. But I definitely think West Kirby probably tops the cake because it's just a very unique venue and it's a really fun little town with this really big sailing event there. I guess some of my interests besides water sports are probably just about any sport. I'm not really the relaxing type. I like to go play more when I'm done playing with one thing. But I enjoy mountain biking, road cycling, a lot of trail running I've gotten into lately, a lot of different types of cross training, but I'm kind of just a person who's always on the go and I can't seem to stay still, so I just keep working. So a definite plus of professional sailboat racing, and I guess being a sort of waterman that I've become in terms of beyond, or in terms of doing things beyond racing sailboats, is that you get to play every day and get paid doing it. And there's definitely a lot of money that you can make doing it, and you can lead a very normal and quite lucrative wealth, but it's definitely got its drawbacks. It's definitely hard to plan and schedule things months in advance, and right now it's definitely tricky because I'm trying to prioritize my own personal sailing with Olympic campaigning and finding the right partner over, for example, racing on someone else's boat or a big boat program I might be part of. However, with the Olympics, it's something that you tend to struggle to make ends meet, and it's definitely a lifestyle choice where you're not going to make any money off that side of the sport as a sailor. And so it's something that you have to really find as a passion in order to be able to drive yourself to push yourself to the extremes. I think if you know what you want to do in life and you have a calling from inside of you, then it's something that always eats away at you, and you can always look back and say, what if? And I'm the type of person that I don't want to get to any point in my life and wonder, what if I guess maybe once or twice I've had the thought of, maybe I want to stop this and go get a normal job, but every time I think about doing it, it's too much to give up. If I had to sum my life up into a mission or a single purpose, it's definitely to get an Olympic medal, hopefully a gold medal for my country. You have 10 to 15-year-olds, so like 13-year-old kids. You have 10 of them just surrounding you, and they're just like, by the time you come off the water, it's like, you're as a coach and you're just like, and you just have bags under your eyes and you're like, I just need my own space. I just want to go somewhere where I'm just quiet and I don't get touched.